Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video we want to share with you our review of the small little game Frostpunk. It's I think one of the biggest boxes in our collection. It barely fits on a shelf. So the Frostpunk is a game based on a video game where you are trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. Frozen post-apocalyptic world. So if you are thinking about Frostpunk, you want to see and hear what other people think about this game, just check out this video.
Let's start by mentioning the original IP. I didn't play the PC version of Frostpunk, but trusting Greg in this, Boardgamization of Frostpunk, and if no one used this phrase before, remember we are the first with Boardgamization, is flawless. According to Greg, the vibe of the PC game was transferred here in 100%, and if you are a huge fan of the original, you're gonna love this adaptation. If, like me, it's your first contact with this franchise, fortunately there are plenty of reasons why you can fall in love with this board game. Frostpunk is super fun to play, mostly due to the RTS nature of the game, where you grow and manage your secluded colony with its buildings, scavenging natural resources, several types of workers, and even more factors to control. But what shines the most brightly here, and similar to this war of mine, is tremendous immersion and a mature full of moral choices, lore and story. No, it's not a campaign story-driven game with a thick booklet. However, a few decks of events, called here morning and dusk decks, are more than enough to build this awesome atmosphere of fighting for survival and trying to pick lesser evil to help your colony keep going. Immersion here is tremendous, and board game adaptation is as thematic as the original. Same as this war of mine, Frostpunk is very graphic when it comes to violence, struggle and tough choices necessary to be made to survive. Plus, almost every time you're gonna have to endure the consequences of your choices due to the extra cards added to the event decks according to your decisions. This war of mine trips to the abandoned malls and hospitals for resources were replaced here by expeditions through the snowy plains and mountains. This mechanic, together with the tiles you're gonna turn over while clearing the snow around the generator, provides a very decent level of exploration, making at the same time our place even more replayable. While there is always a struggle with time and not enough free workers, it's definitely worth sending them on expeditions, not only for resources and survivors you can add to your colony, but also for other immersive events launching while you reach certain points. Other simple and very fulfilling mechanics matching the theme of managing the colony despite all odds are both the laws you can establish in your community and the system of morale, highly influencing your gameplay. From forcing kids to work under severe conditions, through opening the public house to building a fighting arena, each law has its consequences, and when some seem more beneficial than others, it all matters at what point your colony is, because being too generous and caring is not always the best answer. Mostly introduced laws, but also other aspects of the game, change the morale of the colony, and even more often, with the right hope or discounted tokens, you can gain a better advantage. This solution very transparently shows how your decisions affect your people. Balanced gameplay and challenging scenarios with varying difficulty provide plenty of reliability. System of developing your colony while trying to keep your citizens healthy and not hungry, with options to send people on expeditions, find new technologies, explore the board, gain new resources, and many other things to do, will keep you in constant feeling that there is always not enough time for some routes to pursue them, and hard choices needs to be made not only during the events but also during the planning and executing the actions. All of it combines really well, and the whole engine behind the game is very satisfying. Standing table presence is another obvious pro here, and it's probably the very first time that the basic wash works so well for the theme. Usually when a game is dominated by one color, especially white, it doesn't look as good as it should be. Let's take Steam Watchers as an example. But here in Frostpunk, due to the extra effort made by the graphic and 3D designers, the game looks simply stunning. A fully built colony with its various buildings, deluxe resources and little dioramas representing workers can easily compete for one of the best looking board games. 2 months after getting our pledge, we get Frostbox as well, and when I was complaining about its whiteness at the beginning, placed right behind the playmat during the session suddenly makes sense, extending the main board and creating this epic frozen landscape. The game is definitely missing reference sheets combining all 4 roles. When playing in duo, managing 4 different reference sheets is a difficult task, and it's much better to use the rulebook as long as you will not remember all of the steps. What we are missing here is at least 1 reference sheet combining all 4 roles, but it will be way better to have simply 4 of them, each covering everything. After playing Return to the Dark Tower a lot, our expectations for the centerpiece, spawning cubes, have grown significantly. I remember the heat generator was advertised as a scientific wonder and the result of hours of designing by the experienced engineer, but in practice, it almost always spawns all of the cubes unless you throw them carefully on the sides of the hole or upgrade the furnace. Ultimately, the heat generator here works exactly the same way as the tower in Factory 42, for example. I can't wait for Lacerox to publish the proper insert and organizer for the Frostpunk, because the only true flow of this epic game is its setup, which can easily take over 20 minutes. It's much easier to complain than design something and I have no good answer on how this can be done differently, but overall long play time taking around 4 hours combined with a long setup makes Frostpunk harder to get to the table than we want it to be. Despite pointing out some minor flaws, we can't deny the fact that Frostpunk is a marvelous game and one of the best ones with the premieres last year, and that's why it was listed in our top 10 games for 2022. Challenging and highly strategic gameplay, stunning table presence, and most of all super immersive and mature atmosphere make Frostpunk a true gem in our collection and something we will go back to for years. Saying this, we score it for 8.5 scratches out of 10 possible, with half scratch less from Greg because he usually takes care of the setup. That's all for today, see you at the next game and don't forget to subscribe our channel.